Corpse Party was one of the most unique games I've ever played. You see this pixel art style and think, there's no way this game is going to be scary, but what's really shocking is how much you start to care about these characters and how this is genuinely a really great story. It definitely also packs some good scares. Let's talk about it. Corpse Party is a survival horror adventure game, the first game in the series, and it was developed using the RPG Maker software and released in 1996 for the PC 9801. I'm not sure if that's the right way to say that. The plot of the original Corpse Party game concerns a group of Japanese high school students celebrating their school's cultural festival. The group are telling ghost stories when a sudden earthquake transports them to Heavenly Host Elementary School, a dilapidated schoolhouse in an alternate dimension. The school is haunted by the ghosts of the people who have been trapped there. You'll have to survive, find clues, and solve puzzles to unravel the mystery. The game got 2 remakes. Blood Covered, released in 2006, is an enhanced remake and port of the 1996 Corpse Party. It includes more characters, larger maps, updated graphics, and a cast of amateur voice actors. I believe this is the version that I played on Steam. There's another remake that seems very popular. It was made for the PSP, and there's one on the 3DS as well. And so where to start with this game? Immediately starting the game after the opening cutscenes, it immediately sets a mood. A dark, hopeless atmosphere, surrounded by death and no means of escape. The art style is pretty decent. I've never been a huge fan of pixel games like this, but the story is so good that it quickly wasn't a problem. The game does a great job of creating these creepy environments walking around the halls of the haunted school. One thing this game does with its story that blends in with the gameplay is the idea that the students that were brought here are all existing in the same school at the same time but in parallel dimensions. So depending on what character you are at a certain time, the layout of the school could be slightly different. And you can occasionally see remnants of what the other students are doing without really getting a full picture of what you're seeing. But when you switch perspectives, it becomes more clear. Like I mentioned, there are ghosts in the school that are trying to kill you. You can't even make eye contact with them. If you look in their direction, you're in trouble. The first few times you come across a ghost and need to escape, it's pretty scary, but as with a lot of horror games, after a while it just becomes sort of another obstacle that doesn't become as scary the more you play the game. Each chapter has multiple endings, but you'll need to get the correct ending to have it considered as finishing the chapter. If you're a big dum-dum like myself, you will constantly get the wrong ending and seriously consider following an online guide. So from here on, there will be some spoilers, so warning. This game does bring in other threats. You'll come across an insane student that is also stuck in there that wants to murder you. When you get to the later chapters, the story really starts picking up. Not that it was slow or anything, but you start to get explanation of what's been going on and why you were there. And man, is some of this stuff absolutely brutal. I consider myself pretty desensitized, and the art style isn't scary or anything, but the descriptions of what happened are pretty messed up. When you see some flashbacks as to who the main culprit is, it's pretty damn crazy and brutal, and just such a brutal, dark game. So the ending, it was really good. You could argue that it was a bit generic and cliche, but I think the characters were so well done that you'll let some of the more cliche stuff pass. All of the different closed spaces begin to merge together, and characters begin to start running into each other, and it's really awesome when the mystery starts being solved, and a plan to get out starts to be formed. After so much dread and despair and a sense of impending death, it was an awesome experience when you begin to figure everything out. And the epilogue is also pretty good, and it's pretty sad. The students that survived remember everything, but the ones that died in that space are essentially erased from history. It's like they never existed. You'll also unlock extra levels by completing chapters and getting all the alternate endings. This game, for me, was surprisingly great. I did not expect to like it nearly as much as I did, and good news, there are several sequels, the next game being Book of Shadows, and I'm looking forward to checking it out one day. If you have any interest in checking this game out, I definitely recommend it. You won't regret it, especially if you're a fan of horror.